Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Louisville police are investigating after reports of an active aggressor at the Kentucky Expo Center. And Governor Beshear visited Louisville, welcoming a new organization that helps prepare high schoolers for the job market.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this July 15th. It's 6 o'clock this morning and time to check on in with meteorologist Megan Dusmal for a look at that forecast. And Megan, it is a hot start to our day, muggy. And what was that word you used? Steamy.
Foggy. Oh yes, steamy. Yeah, it's a steamy day. That's a good way to describe what we can expect over the next couple of hours, as well as foggy. I mean, let's take a look as you head outside the door. We're under that dense fog advisory for most of the region, and we're seeing that. So just drive carefully if you are encountering any fog. And we are seeing just a little bit of rain out there this morning as we travel towards Jackson and Estill County, just a little sprinkle there. And as you travel towards Claiborne County, Lee, and Harlan. Now this will clear out in the next hour, and then we're looking at clear skies until this afternoon where we see some scattered showers return. Current temperatures, though, sitting in the 60s and 70s, a pretty warm mix this morning with high temperatures, unfortunately, mostly in the low 90s. So it's going to be a hot day and humid as you're heading into the afternoon. But as we're looking at the next couple hours, you'll see those temperatures warming up, hitting a high around that 3 o'clock time frame. Amelia.
Thanks, Megan. We're continuing to follow a shooting rampage in Lexington that started outside Bluegrass Airport and ended at a church. 2 women, the pastor's wife and their daughter, were both killed. 2 others at Richmond Road Baptist Church, including the pastor, were injured. In a news conference yesterday afternoon, we learned the pastor and his son-in-law are both listed in critical condition. The Kentucky State Trooper, who was also shot at the airport, suffered serious injuries but is stable. The suspect has been identified as 47-year-old Guy House. He was shot and killed by police at the scene. Madison Carmouche spoke to community leaders about this tragedy.
Everybody has an emotional scar that's pretty much lasts throughout your life after that happened.
Former Lexington Police Chief Anthony Beatty says people who witnessed, assisted, and worked on the scene of Sunday's mass shooting will not forget that day. He says from the outside looking in, the agencies responded to the airport and Richmond Road Baptist Church scenes in textbook fashion, apprehending the suspect as quickly as possible.
As the leader of an agency in terms of law enforcement, if you're doing your job and doing it the right way, then that ought to, even though it's a tragic crisis-filled dynamic situation, it ought to still happen pretty fluidly.
Beatty says that in situations where a suspect is on the run, it is important to secure the scene. He says this is for the safety of the public as well as the officers involved.
And so in the law enforcement sense, in my mentality, I'm thinking, okay, this person's at the limit now because they don't mind posing a threat to the law enforcement agency.
Beatty says in these times, it is important for churches to prepare for anything, and that includes gun violence. For a church less than 5 miles down the road from Richmond Road Baptist, Boones Creek Baptist Church, the pastor, Tim Wade, says they are constantly evolving and improving their safety protocol.
It's incomprehensible for us to understand how something like that could take place at a place that's supposed to be safe and sacred.
Wade says they still hosted their Sunday evening service where they prayed for the people involved and ensured congregants of their safety.
It's unfortunate that it has to be part of the conversation at a church, that we have to think about safety measures, but we do take that very seriously. And in
Lexington, Madison Carmouche, WKYT.
Louisville police are investigating after reports of an active aggressor at the Kentucky Expo Center. Officers say no shots were fired and no victims were found, but a few people suffered minor injuries while trying to flee. A girls' basketball tournament was underway when this incident happened. Listen to this player describe what she saw from the court.
Yeah, there was like a wall of people, and like in the middle of my game I look over and there's a bunch of people running. Then I look at my coach and he's like saying let's go, so we all just like run and sprint and you, I guess, just try to get out as fast as you could.
The building was evacuated for the day out of caution. The games were expected to pick back up yesterday. An FBI agent was arrested after a DUI crash in Knoxville. According to court records obtained by our sister station, authorities responded to this crash at around 11:30 Sunday night. Mark Stevenson told police that two friends ran away from the scene after wrecking his truck. Stevenson reportedly had a strong odor of alcohol on his breath. On the heels of the 3 convictions in the Crystal Rogers murder case, the FBI is issuing a reminder about another open case. The FBI is offering a reward of up to $10,000 for information in connection with the death of Tommy Ballard, Crystal's father. Tommy was shot and killed 16 months after Crystal's disappearance. Police say someone fired a gunshot and hit Ballard in the chest when he was getting ready to go on a hunting trip. If anyone has any information about Tommy Ballard's murder, you're asked to contact the FBI field office in Louisville at 502-263-6000. Governor Andy Beshear visited Louisville yesterday, welcoming a new organization that helps prepare high schoolers for the job market. Jobs for American Graduates, or JAG, hosted a national training seminar at the Galt House yesterday afternoon. They provide job training and hands-on experience for high school students across the states. Governor Beshear believes investments in our kids should be a nonpartisan issue.
And while we're often hearing terms like bipartisan, I think it's time we get back to nonpartisan. The education and skills training our kids get should be nonpartisan. Not a win for this group or a win for that group, but something that we are all in together because we recognize that there isn't anything red or blue about a job. It's just good for a human being.
Graduates of JAG also get a year of support during their transition from high school to employment, military service, or post-secondary education. Well, there was a flood watch in effect yesterday for Kerr County, Texas. That complicated the search, rescue, and recovery efforts in the area. The death toll across Texas from that July 4th flash flooding has reached 139. No survivors were found last week, and 166 people are still missing. Hundreds of volunteers have been digging through mountains of debris along the Guadalupe River. Gray Media, WYMT's parent company, donated $25,000 to the Salvation Army to help flood victims in Central Texas. The donation is part of the Together for Texas emergency campaign launched after the catastrophic flooding during the 4th of July weekend. The campaign has raised more than $800,000 and still counting. The Salvation Army Emergency Disaster Services teams are currently on the ground providing meals, hydration, and emotional and spiritual care, but more help is still needed. President Donald Trump has issued an ultimatum to Russia to reach a peace deal with Ukraine, or else its trading partners could face stiff new tariffs. President Donald Trump is threatening to slap a 100% tariff on countries that buy Russian oil and gas if the Kremlin does not reach a peace deal with Ukraine within 50 days. While hosting NATO's Secretary General Monday, the president touted a plan to sell weapons, including Patriot missiles, to NATO for Ukraine.
We are very unhappy, I am, with Russia. We're going to supply weapons to NATO. They're going to deliver the weapons, and they're going to pay for 100% of the weapons.
In a phone interview with the BBC, President Trump also said that while he's disappointed with Vladimir Putin, he's not done with the Russian president. But he said after multiple peace deals with Russia fell through, he now trusts almost no one. Major League Baseball reaches annual All-Star break, and this year, the Midsummer Classic is taking center stage in Atlanta. The event always draws a big crowd for fans throughout the country. Some folks made their way to the All-Star Village near Truist Park. Some attending the event, though, have a bigger goal in mind than just watching the game.
We're trying to hit every single baseball field as a couple, so we really wanted to come to the All-Star Week.
Last weekend we were at Mets, and then we went to a Liberties game.
There are 30 Major League Baseball ballparks, 29 in the United States and 1 in Canada.
Temperatures are on the warmer side this morning. That's a trend that we'll see all day long. In fact, here's what you need to know as you're heading out the door. Mainly a mixture of the low 70s. We do see some upper 60s as you travel more towards the east. 64 for Clintwood and Wise, 68 as you travel towards Whitesburg. Now, this afternoon, as I mentioned, it's going to be hot. We're looking at low 90s all across the region, seeing some areas in the upper 80s, but even then it's going to be very humid. So those feels like temperatures will be approaching the upper 90s. We do have some chances for some scattered showers this morning as you see towards Harlan County, Claiborne County, and Estill. That'll clear out, and then another round of scattered showers will kind of pick up this afternoon. Slight chances, and then some slight chances of storms as you head into the late evening hours. Here's a breakdown of your day. Again, slight chances for that rain as you're heading into the afternoon, and those chances for storms will kind of ramp up as you head into those evening hours. Amelia.
Well, thanks so much for getting your day started with us on Mountain News this morning at 6:10.